Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend on the side of the road? I 26 female and my boyfriend Nick 27 male have been dating for almost a year, and something that has always bothered me is how Nick does not believe in maintaining or taking care of his vehicles. Background. To give some context, Nick bought his car brand new about 5 years ago and has put about 70,000 miles on the vehicle. Since purchasing the vehicle he has never had an oil change, nor does he do any kind of regular maintenance. I would like to clarify by saying Nick's refusal to maintain his vehicle is not due to any kind of financial insecurity. Nick has an incredible job that pays him very fairly. As a hobby and side job, I like to restore vehicles for a profit. I am by no means a mechanic, I mostly clean up the vehicles, do bodywork and paint restoration. However, I do have a pretty fundamental understanding of cars and I know how to do the basics. Story. Nick called me yesterday on my day off and told me he was about 10 minutes from my house and that he had a flat tire and asked if I could come to help him out. I grabbed my tool bag and headed out. When I got there, Nick did not only have a flat tire but his front left rotor was cracked. Rotor is part of the car's brakes, and his rim was bent to hell. I was telling Nick that his car was undrivable and that he needed to call a tow. Nick started arguing with me, telling me that it was just a flat tire and that it was not a big deal. I tried showing Nick how bad the damage was, but he insisted I was overreacting and that he just needed me to change the tire. I refused, and in Nick's own words, I started mothering him on how poorly he takes care of his car. The argument got heated and Nick lashed out at me and started saying things like, "Just because you have a set of pink tools and watch YouTube doesn't make you a fucking mechanic." After Nick said this, I started to pack up my tools and told him that he was right. I'm not a mechanic, but that he should probably call one because I'm not changing his tire. I left Nick on the side of the road and he refuses to talk to me until I apologize for abandoning him. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. He has a lot of nerve, picking a fight with someone he called for help. Not the asshole. He's put 70,000 miles on his car and has never changed the oil? WTF? I'm amazed the car still runs. If you like to work on cars, then you won't want to be with someone that's that cavalier about car repair and maintenance. And that's unforgivable of him to insult you like that with the "pink tools" comment. I think it's time to leave the boyfriend, and not just his car, by the side of the road. So to summarize, your boyfriend asked for your help. You offered help, informed him of the seriousness of the problem. Boyfriend didn't like your answer, told you what to do even though you know better. This became heated. Your boyfriend was extremely offensive. You rightly left him. I'll be blunt, you boyfriend seriously sucks. To blow up over this is a big red flag. You're not the asshole. Good luck with your car hobby though, sounds awesome. Do you ever get your hands on classics? Not the asshole. He refuses to listen to someone with more knowledge. I am loath to use the word, but it almost sounds like he was doing the typical, mansplaining, tools are tools regardless of color. Not the asshole. Yikes. Honey, red flags everywhere. Stressful situations make people act differently, but in the grand scheme of life this wasn't that stressful. He yelled and berated you over the fact that you were trying to help him avoid more issues. He demeans your value even though he needed your skills. He sounds like a narcissist. What happens when you two face a scenario with greater stress, illness, loss of a job, loss of a family member, etc.? Is this really the partner you want to depend on for support in those times? You deserve a million times better. Not the asshole. And yikes. If he won't maintain a high-end purchase, how does he treat his home? He has made fun of your car knowledge, yelled at you for making an accurate statement about his broken car, and demanded an apology, none of which you deserved. Is this how he normally responds in stressful situations? Am I the asshole for turning my wife's joke about my ed back on her? I'm a 32-year-old man, and my wife Jess is a 26-year-old woman. We have been married for 3 years. 6 months ago, I started to experience erectile dysfunction. This has largely been spurred by anxiety. It's a medical condition that I am currently seeing a doctor for. Jess has gone between blaming me and then blaming herself. Basically weekly the pendulum swings one way or the other. Lately, she has found humor in it, and I guess I can laugh at myself a little. It's only a severe psychological symptom and all that jazz. Well, on Friday night we met up for friends with drinks. Including us, there were 6 people at the table. The discussion turned into a direction that led a very drunk Jess to saying, "Yeah, and I'm not getting any because this guy can't even get it up," while pointing at me. My first reaction was shocked that she'd say something that horrible and private about me, but without missing a beat, I responded, "Yeah, and with a wife like this can you even blame me?" Everyone laughed and assumed we were kidding and it was a silly thing we had. I mean, what kind of a 32-year-old gets Ed in the first place, right? Well, the next morning, Jess was incredibly hungover but distinctly remembered what I said and got very upset. It wasn't a real screaming her head off type, but a quiet, "How dare you" type. I responded that she just threw everything about me on the table, to which she responded that it was more of a spur-the-moment thing while my response was calculated. I don't think I was the asshole here, but was I? Not the asshole. You had 4 options. Sit there hurt. Leaving everyone at the table uncomfortable and judging your wife. Leave. Again, leaving everyone at the table uncomfortable and judging your wife. Argue about it. Leaving everyone at the table uncomfortable and judging your wife. Make it a joke. Everyone laughs and moves on. P's. Either A, there's something bothering your wife to make her like this and you should help, or B, she's always been like it and you should leave. Just because you can laugh it off doesn't mean to should have to. Edit. Thanks for the awards, peeps. My husband had an Ed problem a few years back due to stress and stuff. I will admit that at first I was worried he wasn't attracted to me anymore. He assured me it wasn't me and I moved on to being the support he needed. He was only 27 at the time and his doctor said it's all in your head and helped him work past it. During that time, and even now years after the problem was solved, I would never ever make a joke like that. Not in private and not in public. You are not the asshole and I'm sorry your personal business was put out in front of everyone. Not the asshole. Kinda shitty of your wife to bring that up in conversation. If I were y'all I would call it even and move on. Honestly pretty impressed that you were able to come up with that on the spot. She responded that it was more of a spur-the-moment thing while my response was calculated. Info. Could you ask your wife to elaborate on this for me? I'd really love to know how she thinks you managed to calculate a response to a spur-of-the-moment comment. Not the asshole. Having Ed has zero to do with how manly you are. Your wife decided to try and humiliate you by revealing a private medical issue. You made it into a joke to deflect from embarrassment, which any of us would do. Your wife owes you profuse apology for starting the whole thing. You both could use counseling while you go through this, so that you understand this in no way makes you less of a man. And your wife so she understands this isn't about how attractive she is or is not, it's a medical issue pure and simple. I will say that if your wife continues in that kind of behavior you need to ask yourself if you want to have a partner who would say something so vicious about you while you're going through this. Not the asshole. Don't dish it out if you can't take it. Am I the asshole for not sharing my garage with my girlfriend? I, am 28, am in a 2 years relationship with my girlfriend, F 27. And we haven't got any big problems yet. We don't live together but she spends a lot of time at my place because she has roommates. I have a 1973's Dodge Dart Swinger. It's kind of broken down and I bought it really cheap a few years ago. The car is not that good but I honestly have a deep love for it and I spend a lot of money on it wherever I have some money left to spend. Recently my girlfriend brought a 2017's Renault Kwid. The car is nice. It's new too so it doesn't even have a scratch. The thing is my girlfriend demanded that I leave my car outside when she sleeps over so she can leave her car in my garage. She said that since her car is new then it is more important to keep it safe. I obviously disagreed. My car might be cheaper but it still is my car and I think I deserve to keep it safe because it's my only vehicle. She stated that I'm being selfish because she had to work a lot to make enough money to buy the car so I tried to calm her down and told her that I could pick her up at her house when she wants to stay over. She'll be able to leave the car in her home's garage. To which she said no and that she had brought the car to be seen in a new car and not a broke-down one. Then she called me stupid and told me I was ruining our relationship for a car and I answered that she was doing the same. She left and hasn't been answering my calls. Was I really wrong for this? Or should I stand on my ground? Not the asshole, she's the one ruining your relationship over a car. Not the asshole. Your solution was really reasonable, both of your cars will be safe that way. I think your girlfriend doesn't appreciate your stuff because it's cheap. She may not know how hard you worked for it or maybe she just doesn't care. Either way, this is a hill to die on. Not the asshole. I would be careful. One girlfriend sold a guy's 70-inch Impala while he was out of town so she could park in the garage. Not the asshole, but if you look very closely you will see her true colors. Think long and hard about continuing this relationship. As a car lover, if someone asked me to move my project car out of the garage. Nope. Not the asshole. For starters, you two don't even live together. The entitlement she has, expecting you to let her have your garage because she has a nicer, newer car, is baffling. Secondly, when you offer a solution to her ridiculous request, she responds by calling you selfish, and insults your compromise. Again, exhibiting her entitled behavior because she can't be seen in a broken-down car, now that she has her new car. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter not to talk to me? Some backstory. I have 3 kids, 14 female, 16 female, 25 female. They used to get along great. Then 14 female got a cat for her birthday and 16 female hated him. I think she's scared of him, but she refuses to admit it, so she used it as an excuse to not have much of a relationship with her sister. She's also been more distant with the rest of the family in an attempt to distance herself from her sister and her cat. My husband also dislikes the cat, but he doesn't let it affect his relationship with his family. My husband and I were at our friend's birthday party last week. We were supposed to be out late and 14 and 16 were home alone. 16 was taking the family dog out and 14's cat was trying to play and was swiping at her feet. 16 called 14 to get her shithead cat away from her and told her what the cat was doing. Apparently 14 took her time to get there, then laughed, called the cat a good boy, and gave him a treat. 14 denied it, but it sounds like something she'd do. This sparked an argument between the two and 16 kept cursing the cat out. She knows this hurts 14 and 14 retaliated by cursing her out. 16 responded by telling 14 that she doesn't love her and hasn't for a long time, she hates her, she's so excited for the day she gets to move out and never speak to her or see her again. This deeply hurt 14 because family is extremely important to her and 25 lives nearby, but never asks her to hang out and only speaks to her a couple times a year, which is already very hard on her. Then to rub salt on the wound, she grabbed a treat, called the cat's name, and threw the treat outside. The cat chased it and 14 spent over an hour looking for her cat. 16 called my husband and told him about their argument and 14 called me and told me what 16 did with the treat, so we had to leave early. When I got home I grounded 16 because she escalated the argument by cursing the cat out, then hurt her sister by going on that spiel about how she hates her and she's going to be alone, then for throwing the treat, but my husband ungrounded her and said that 14 should be punished for laughing and giving the cat a treat when he was trying to scratch 16. 14 asked if anything was going to happen to 16 for what she said and did, and 16 yelled that she meant everything. I told 16 that she ruined my weekend and not to speak to me. My husband took her side and has been sleeping on the couch since, and 16 hasn't spoken to me or 14 since the argument. Last night I found my husband helping 16 pack and getting her important documents out of the safe. When I asked what he was doing, he said 16 was going to stay with 25. I told him 16 wasn't going anywhere, but he ignored me and went back to packing. 16 is gone now and my husband is still on the couch. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter not to speak to me? It's not about the cat. Whatever precipitated this situation was brewing for a long time and it all came to a head that evening. Whoa. 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 You're telling us that the teenage daughters got into a fight and by the end of the day your husband aided the 16-year-old in packing to go live with her sister, and she left to do so? And there was no summit between the parents to discuss this? It sounds like your daughters communicate with each other about as well as you and your husband do, which is to say not very well. Your family is falling apart. Let go of your pride and start working on this. Until then you are the asshole. Something is missing here. Why does 25 never come around? I feel like maybe you spoil or favor 14, but that's just based on vibes. This is a really weird post. So 25 doesn't talk to 14. 16 hates 14. Sounds like 14 is the favorite and the other two are over the golden child treatment. You are the asshole if you cannot see that this is a bigger issue than the cat. I told 16 that she ruined my weekend and not to speak to me. I see where 14 gets it from. You want parent to be only a noun instead of a verb as well. Get off your high horse about a dang cat and actually acknowledge you have been allowing for shit to happen to the point your daughter doesn't even want to live in your home anymore. There's more going on here and you won't purposely say what it is. You are the asshole.